Hello, my lovely peaches. I'm so happy right now because I just successfully saved my brand new latest video, which is about Stephen tWitch boss and Allison Holker's relationship timeline. And I went on a part 2 deep dive. It was meant to be just actually like a quick notes version so that I could then do a deep dive, but it ended up becoming so long. Hi. So you could see it is Saturday, November 18th, 2023. November 2023, it's Sunday. So the video is currently uploading. This is part 2. So that video is gonna be, I gotta get up and I've got to open my curtain and turn on my lights. So I made that video, I started with the intention of making it quick, like I always do. And then I said, oh, I'm just gonna make some notes of the video I'm gonna make. And what I wanted to do was to read an article about Stephen Boss tWitch's relationship timeline with Allison Holker, his now widow, mother of his 3 kids, the first and oldest kid being her daughter that she gave birth to. And the identity of the biological father seems to be private, and who he then adopted. So there's a bunch of chapters, so to speak, as let me get my butt into this seat. Oh yeah, now I'm so disappointed. I just showed this heating pad and said I use it every single day and night, all winter, and was showing how cool it is. And last night it started flashing an F, and this morning I looked it up. What does that mean? It means it's dead. I unplugged it and replugged it, and it like came back on for a moment, and then so I'm really disappointed about it. I did have it for 2 years. It was like $45. It was super cool, but now it's dead, and I'm out of a heating pad. So that's poop. That's another update. So you can probably hear the whirring of my laptop in the background as I have literally pushed it to the maximum. Actually, I tried to save the video several times without it working, and I had to delete a bunch of stuff and reboot. So this is an hour and 37 minutes long video. And this is the first time that I really made it a point while making the video to make the video with chapters in mind. Oh, look, I look like Baby Yoda. So I adore making long videos, and I've never thought about making the video in such a way where, well, like Emily D. Baker, when she does her long live streams, or even when she's just recording, she does what she calls a swoop. And it's basically just a placeholder that helps in editing so that you can jump from chapter to chapter, and that it's easy to make timestamp markers so that the viewer can jump from chapter to chapter. So this video is a long video, and I have put markers so that I can see it. However, I'm not sure how long it's going to take for it to actually upload and then render into 1080 HD. And then once that happens, I'm going to have to go through find the chapters, put that in the description box. Then I also reference quite a few articles or links throughout the video, and I'm going to put all the links of those in the description box as well. And it's likely I'm going to share the video before I got all the back end work complete. So if you're interested in the video, it is going to be coming out this afternoon. Hopefully it won't take, let's see, it's 10:44 a.m. right now. It's 70% uploading. Once it actually uploads, I don't know how long it's going to take to actually get the D1020, and this is the actual name of it. That was my original version, and then I was like, no, actually I have a thing. Actually, I have a few more things to say. And then, so when you watch the video, if you do, you will see that it's actually a progression where I start the video. I probably should have just started by reading the article straight away, but what I on screen, but what I did was I read the article and I made some notes, and then I made a video saying I'm going to make some notes about this article I want to read. But I ended up doing a lot more detail than I wanted, and then it also raised questions. And then so the first version was 40 something minutes, but then when I went back to edit it and kind of find the details so that I could answer my own questions in that video, then that video became the mega video. So in the end of the video, I do actually read some of the article, and I'll link that, as I said. And I do a deep dive. If you're interested in Stephen Twitch Boss and Allison Holker and their relationship timeline, the purpose of it is, one, for me, because I'm curious, and as a fan of his, I followed them for years and I loved them, and I was and am incredibly curious about what actually happened with him, and the absolute shock of the tragedy and the absolute disbelief about it at the time. And I can say the quick version of the video is that after making the video, I feel very much more sure that he probably did actually do what they said he did, which was to end his own life. And it seems now, looking back, like hindsight is 2020, and I talk about how reverse engineering can lead to false narratives. Like Charlie Adelson reverse engineering what happened when he hired someone he hired a hitman to kill his ex-brother-in-law, and then he paid his girlfriend to pay them, and then he reverse engineered a false narrative when he got up on the stand, and his defense, which was, oh no, I was extorted. No, I didn't hire them to do the job. They hired themselves to do the job for free, went and did the job for free, and then came after me to extort me for money, which I paid them. So nobody bought it. The jury didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I didn't believe his reverse engineering of his bullshit story was like, no, motherfucker, you hired them, you paid them, they killed him, and then you continue to pay, and that was like the obvious story. So just saying that, I just want to say you can reverse engineer the truth of a story, and that's what the defense in many cases do. That's exactly what they do. They reverse engineer what really happened to come up with a false narrative, an alternative truth. And, you know, we do that in our own lives. We reverse engineer what happened in our lives. We often don't even know what happened because we were really young and we just had our own skewed perspective of a thing, and we made up a bullshit story, and then we're living our truth as if that's our truth, that's our story. That wasn't even the story. That was a reverse engineered false narrative that you and or somebody else or somebody's else put together, and now you're living it. So that's just a side note I wanted to mention. So I really truly don't want this to become long, because this is supposed to be just an introduction and a preview to the fact that a big, long, chunky video is coming out. I am going to be deep diving into a variety of questions in there. It's hardly a deep dive. It's like chapter 2, and there's many mini chapters in there. But if you're interested in another third video where there's an interview that they did together on Jennifer Hudson that I do include a clip of it, but I was curious about maybe like analyzing it more fully. That clip was like 5-something minutes. I don't know if it was like a half an hour interview or something. I don't know how long they actually interviewed on that show. On YouTube, it says that it was recorded or posted November 17th of 2022, which is a year ago yesterday. So I don't know if it was recorded on that date, shared on that date, or just posted on the YouTube that date, but it had to have been around that time. And they talk about expanding their family. So there was a lot of body language clues to me in that video. Also in the last post that they ever shared. And as I was saying last night, or I should say this AM, as I was getting into bed, I was thinking about, honestly, all the things that I realized through doing the research of making the video. Like I was saying, when it first happened, and I thought to myself, how is it possible, humanly possible, for somebody who was that happy, that successful, had that happy of a marriage, that happy of a family, that many amazing opportunities lined up and set up and happening? How could this person do that? But I feel that there's a lot of potential answers that are there. And although there's probably a big conspiracy about powerful elites in Hollywood being involved, I did actually think, well, one thing I will say is that on December 9th of 2022, they posted a family commercial. Now, I did share some of that on my video. I did my best to blur out the kids' faces wherever I could, but there are a few places where it's just, I don't have that amount of editing ability where I could edit out that many faces. And I feel like because it is publicly available on their social media pages, that and I'm doing it for educational purposes, that, you know, hopefully that I actually deeply believe in respecting children's privacy. And I'll tell you right here that commercial with the tWitch and Allison dancing with their 2 younger kids, which was on December 9th of 2022 on their page, which was the day before their 9th year anniversary, wedding anniversary, and 3 days before he took his life. That video gives me ick. There's so much stuff about that video that gives me ick. And I really felt like, if this is a man who feels trapped in a situation where he never has downtime, he can never like be off because his home is his studio, and his relationship is content. And just the idea that his like, I could imagine the thought that if this is a situation that he wasn't really as in love with as he made it seem, and the contracts and the jobs and the requirements and the commitments and the obligations, and it's so fun to make TikToks, it's so fun, it just comes naturally. Oh, who decides what? Oh, it's just our language. Dancing is just another language to us. Well, what happens when this is in your home? This is your private relationship. This is your private safe haven space. This is your family. You know, I personally have a lot of issues, like tremendous amount of issues with family vloggers and family channels. And I definitely feel like there's a big difference between two grown-ups in a relationship who love dancing and it's part of their relationship and it's cute and fun and they make dancing videos as a couple. And yeah, I used to dance around the living room with my kids, but at some point, actually, if I think about it, like 4 or 5 years ago, YouTube made it so that if you had children in your video, you can't have comments, and basically they were cracking down, which I 100% agreed with. So I was like, oh yeah, you know what, that kind of makes sense. And so I just shifted away from it, and I just stopped making that type of content, and I just would dance around the house by myself. And when I saw their video, that commercial, I felt like they were kind of like egging on the kids, like, come on, be excited, dance, perform. And, you know, they were like bouncing and jumping. And then there was one moment where the little girl is like holding her mom, and she's got her head like buried in her, like, you know, hiding like this. And it's like that's exactly how little kids respond to strangers, you know, when it's like, say hi to this person you don't know, and then they're like, oh. And I was like, gosh. And I actually said, oh, and another thing about the last video that, well, as of right now, the last video that I saw Allison posted with her daughter Wesley, they're dancing together. It's like basically the same setup. Like, okay, now she just replaced tWitch with her daughter or other people, and the daughter is like, she's got her phone in her hand, and she's like, she's barely doing the moves. Honestly, she just looks so like, this is tedious. Like, I'm only doing this for my mom because she's literally making me. And, you know, let me just do, it's like she doesn't have any joy in her face. There's no smile. It's only just a few seconds, really. But I'm just like, where's the sense that this girl really wants to do this? I get the sense that she's just doing this to appease her mother and get some clicks and likes and views. And it just makes me really sad. It makes me sad. I do mention how Jada Pinkett Smith was totally disrespectful and all up in Will Smith's face. And did Esther, the therapist, help us? And he's like, dude, stop filming me. You can't just be filming me. And that's the feeling of like being a kid, trying to live your life, trying to go through puberty, trying to just be a regular person. And then here's your mom constantly trying to get you to dance on a video. Yeah, I have my kids in my videos occasionally and on a rare occasion, and I don't make my channel about them or about our family at all. They pop up in and out of my video occasionally because they're my kids, and I make a lot of videos at home or go into the bus stop or whatever it is. But the whole idea that there's no boundaries, you know, even working as a virtual consultant, which I do, I learned quite early on, just because I work virtually doesn't mean, so like the first few clients I had, I was like, oh, I can work late nights and I can work weekends. Like basically I can work anytime. There's no boundary because it's just like open, loosey-goosey. And I was starting to get burnt out after like a month. And I was like, you know what, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to have clients who respect the boundaries that, you know what, I work during business hours, and then off business hours is when I'm doing things like making videos or resting or doing whatever the heck I want to do. Not having to be performing all the time with somebody expecting me to look camera ready all the time, to be willing and able and ready to do whatever. And you know, there's also questions about, you know, once you get real far and elite in Hollywood, how true is it about all the weird, shady stuff that goes on? And, you know, I don't know. I'll never be able to read a man's mind, especially not one who's no longer around. But I am interested in the cues and the clues and researching it. So that's going to be the end of this intro version video. If you are interested in watching it, listening with me, join me. Let me know. It'll be coming out. It says it's going to take about 2 hours right now, so it's going to be popping out today. And also let me know if you're interested in, like I said, a deeper dive of a part 3, which will be for Patreon members, or maybe this is the part 3. I don't know. Okay. I talk about the statement she puts out. I also talk about Dana Carvey's son, who tragically passed last weekend, and the statement that he put out the next day. So if all of this interests you and you really want to hear it, then click subscribe, hit the bell notification, follow me. I'll be posting that hopefully soon, this afternoon. I don't know how long it's going to take to actually render fully, but I'm excited about it. I worked a lot on it. I stayed up until almost 6 o'clock in the morning trying to get it done. Well, I was like, I'm going to get this done yesterday. And then I kept looking at the clock and it was like 2 hours past, 2 hours past. I couldn't believe it. It was like, it's midnight? What? It's 2 a.m.? What? It's 4 a.m.? What? And but that started from the morning, all day long, and the day before. So I really hope you enjoy the video. Bye.